a lot of people don't realize that the people who win Mrs. Oklahoma or Miss Oklahoma or pageant stuff, they don't realize the amount of things the organization does to give back, right? They just see, a woman walking around with a crown and a sachet and she's smiling and taking photos.
And we only do that during the competition.
Exactly, right? They don't see
that.
Yeah, and they don't see, I mean, now they probably might see it a bit more with social media, but they don't see you engaging the community, going out and speaking and having an impact. Mm-hmm. So that's why when you get that, you now are on you're on a circuit, right? That they're like, hey, here's all these events. Which ones do you want to go to?
A way to catapult or give me a platform to get out. So I capitalized on that, and you're required to make 12 appearances in that given year, and I did over 250 that year. I was just ready to do whatever the community needed. I worked with the Allied Arts. I worked with Calm Waters, which is an organization that is geared towards children who are grieving either a divorced parent situation or death of a parent, which I had experienced both at this point, so I felt like I was able to help. And then I also worked with the Oklahoma Marriage Initiative, which also I trained parents that were second-time parents through that organization. And then I mean, you name it, I was speaking all the time or volunteering with anything that anybody needed that I could make time for. So.
And raising a child.
It was a great year.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, of course, obviously.
Yeah.
Yes, that was my number one priority, but I was taking advantage of the opportunity to just plug in.
Yeah, and all of that was around Oklahoma, Oklahoma City,
Oklahoma.
or just the state?
I went to Tulsa a lot.
Okay.
I did some remote towns. I'd have to go back and look. It's been over a decade now, but definitely got up to Tulsa quite a bit, but primarily in the metro.
Mm-hmm. And from that, does kind of like, did that, after you had your year, any Mrs. Oklahomas that came after you, I mean, they've gone from probably doing 12 events, right? Every year someone's done 12 events, and then you come in and do 200 plus, and you're like...
They certainly scaled back.
Yeah.
However, I got to crown...
But you kind of set the standard, hadn't you? So like anyone else who came after you...
I don't want to call it a standard. I think you can make that year whatever you want it to be. That was what I needed and wanted it to be. And my successor happened to be my best friend, and she had her purpose with her daughter. And so everybody has what they want to give and get out of that. And I was able to do that.
Right. I guess it just speaks to kind of the person you are and the amount of things, when you do something, you are going all in on
that. That is very true. Matt actually said that. He's like, so I've learned that there's only two speeds to Heather. There's like stop or go.
Yeah, there's like fully on or fully off. Yeah.
Definitely how I work.
Yeah. So you do this, you have a year on the road, basically. You're doing these events, community impact as Mrs. Oklahoma. Does that kind of pique the interest about getting back into modeling again? Like really getting back into the industry?
Like what you said, I merged my ability. Some people would use me for advertising, and I certainly did that for free.
Right.
And also did a lot of other things in the community. So it sort of did merge those two for me. And I ended up meeting one of my sponsors. I got everything sponsored that year. And my hair sponsor was Anthony David. And one day we were talking, and he was like, I'm just really impressed with what you've done with your year. I really want to go into business with you. And I was like, well, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
What are we going to do? And he's like, I want to do a modeling agency. And I was like, that's pretty relevant. There's not one here in the city. I have a background in that. And we could certainly do something here. So we went into business together that year.
Yeah.
We started it that year. And so that became my focus once I gave up my title. And then about 2 years in, I bought him out, rebranded it, and it's been my baby ever since. And that was about the time, it was about 2 or 3 years in when I started placing models in national positions and then also internationally as well. So it was a really fun time and a really fun ride that I focused solely on outside of raising my kids, because I now have 3. But that was what I did until I came back to the industry I'm in now.
Yeah, and that, for people listening, that is Brink Models. Brink
Model Management, yes. Okay. That is what I've been working on for the past 12 years, building that brand, building the capability to scout, train, identify talent that I know what markets they would do well in, how to get them prepared. And then I have models that honestly live all over the world now. Yeah. And I have a partner in Montreal and I have a partner in Nashville, and they manage most of my out of town models. I have a couple that are just kind of my children at this point. I manage them still. But and then we have a local a group of local models. So at any given time, we're going to manage about 90, give or take, models. Out of state models, we'll probably have about 20 to 30 that are capable of doing that. Out of that, we'll probably have a handful that are every day working.
Yeah.
It's a very, very selective industry. It's very hard to get into. But I've been doing it long enough and have been partners with the agencies around the world for long enough that I know exactly what they're looking for and I can help.
And you've built a trusted reputation with them. And,
Absolutely.
And, you know, integrity and all the rest of it. They know exactly who you are and what you do.
That surpasses it all. One of the things about the model lifestyle and the livelihood of a model is that it's going to be short-lived. And so one of the things that I bank on, my relationships with my agents around the world and my scouts, they know that I'll bring them a model that will work for maybe 5 years, and then I'll bring them another model. And so it's about that trust with me, and they know that I understand the talent that they're looking for and how to get where they need to be. So that's been, honestly, I will say that is one of the things that has helped me in my role now.
Okay.
Because I do a lot of things at Smith Pickel, but primarily business development, community relations, and building and developing long-term relationships is something that I'm very familiar with because of my agency.